So, my point about materialism wasn't solipsism. That was me kind of just rambling off because I don't use a script or anything. The point is that to embrace, when you reject all spirituality, when you reject all, when you become a materialist, again, as I prefaced in the first video, second video, I didn't think I had to restate it, but obviously I do. Modern atheism, not Buddhism or like Hinduism or Zoroastrianism, or a dualist system where God might be all good, but he's not all powerful, or all these things where it's like, okay, it's not technically the Western definition of God. By that standard, I am an atheist, ridiculously as that sounds. In fact, when I started my YouTube channel, I was an atheist. And been trying to get the hell away from it ever since. But that's a joke. What's it called? Materialist atheism, modern atheism, materialism, means you are only biological. That means the input, it's just the outside, your genetics, your chemical makeup, and outside stimulus. Now, since the entire universe is physical and there's no outside influence on it, there's no spatially non-available things working on it, there is no free will. There is only determinism. There cannot be a case where you freely choose something. If you had a correct mathematical model starting from 10 million years back, you could predict the exact conversation somebody will be having right now or in 1,000 years from now, what tone of speech they will be using, what type of speech, everything, inflection, everything. If you had a powerful enough computer and a good enough mathematical model. There can only be determinism, hard determinism, zero free will. All your actions are pretty much predestined because they're only the outcomes of electrochemical reactions, and there's nothing else to that. There's no ghost in the machine. It's just like saying, well, a computer, we could put enough bits in a computer to make it conscious. No, it would only appear conscious. Gaining that sentience, where does that come from? Where is you? Again, these are philosophical underpinnings that most people don't study. And it's maddening. And they'll make huge life decisions. Again, this is why I have to reiterate, your morality in the modern world, not even in the West anymore because we've become globalist, is a Western Christian value system. Not even Marxism succeeded in destroying that. Unless you're living under Islam, and even Islam's been heavily affected by it. Why is human sacrifice bad? And again, you can offer all these reverse engineered things. Oh, well, somebody can be an atheist and still have all the values of a Christian, charitability, all these views on the sanctity of life and this and that, and nonviolence and humanism. Again, humanism started out from Christianity. It's actually a purely Christian movement when it started. Now it's gotten connotations of secularism in it. But that's reverse engineered. You do need that mechanism that was the convergence of Zoroastrianism, Judaism, apocalyptic preaching under the Roman Empire, all of that broth that came together, that cooked up this thing that we now call Christianity, that sustained the West through the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages weren't caused by Christianity. Christianity is what brought Europe out of the Dark Ages. Historical fact. Sorry, Bill Maher, you're wrong. It was the pagans that came in and destroyed and blacked out civilization, and the only light of civilization that survived was actually in the monasteries. And people fucking hate to hear that. They hate to hear that. But people thinking that all their modern concepts of right and wrong can be arrived at rationally, you're still working from inside the machine. And I realize how hard it is to self-perceive, and to completely self-perceive, it's probably not possible. This video is running longer than I like, but no, think about it. Machines don't have free will. It's input and outcome. And if there's no ghost in that machine, and you're just biological, and it's all the external information, or all the previous information, genetics, heredity, chemicals, and outside stimulus, physical world around you, what you put into your body, what you hear, what you see, there's no free will. It cannot exist. Where do you get this free will from? What part of you is acting independently that could actually decide yes or no? You'd only have the illusion. Like I said in the second video, I was going to jump around a bit and jump forward, and I mentioned solipsism. Like, you could just be a brain in a jar, basically. Getting down to that point. Because how could you distinguish between something that's conscious and something that can mimic consciousness? Basically, because the problem of qualia. And like Dennett tries to do and deny that qualia could ever exist, we just don't have the right enough speech to speak it, unless you can get to a collective consciousness, which would imply an extra spiritual thing or something to that degree. And I mean completely enveloped. And even then, you'd still have the problem of qualia. All right, peace to you.